Good morning, students. Myself, Ashikila Devi, Assistant Professor in Rohini College of Engineering and Technology. Today, we are going to learn about the subject 24 CS 302 Object Oriented Java Programming. In this, we are going to discuss about Unit 2. In Unit 2, we are going to discuss about the classes and defining classes and access specifiers. So, what is a class? A class act like a blueprint and an objects are created using that blueprint. So, objects represent a real world entity such as a student, a car, or an employee. So, understanding class is very important because the classes form the foundation of Java programming. So, let us learn about the classes. Okay. So, in Java programming, Java is an object-oriented programming. An object-oriented programming is also called as OOPS. It is based on two main concepts. One is classes, another one is objects. Okay, so what is a class? A class is a user-defined data type. It is grouped together in two ways. That is, it has two datas. One is data member and the member functions. Data member is also called as variables, and the member functions are called as methods. So the class defines the properties and the behavior of the object. In simple world, we can say the data or the object which can score, and the actions or the objects which can perform. And when you say a real world analogy for this, consider a car. A car class will contain the properties like color, speed, and model, behaviors like start, stop, and accelerate. The actual car, like BMW, Audi, and Tesla, are the objects of the car classes. So, the class is a general idea, and the objects are the real instances created from it. Next, we are going to discuss about the components of the class. A class is in Java can contain the following components. Variables is also called as field or data members. Methods, which defines the actions. Constructors used to initialize the objects, and the access modifiers, which control the visibility. All these together define the complete structure of a class. Next, we are going to discuss about the syntax of the class. We start with the keyword class followed by the class name. The class body is written inside the curly braces. So the important rule to remember is the keyword class must be used and the class name should start with the capital letter. If the class is declared as public, the class name must match with the file name. So inside the class we'll write the variables and its methods. And next is defining a symbol class. Okay, here is a simple example of the class named student. The student class contains two data members, id and name. The display method prints the student's id and name. So here id and name represents the data and the display of represents the behavior. So this is how we can define a symbol class in Java. And next is creating objects of a class. After defining the class, we can also create the objects. To create an object, we use the new keyword. For example, if you want to create an object for the student, means student s1 is the variable object which is equal to new student of, that is the class name. Object is equal to new class name of. This statement allocates a memory for the object and create the instance of the student class. So we can access the class member using the dot operator. So we can assign the values of for this id and name, and then we can also call the display of method. So each object has its own copy of the data members. Next, we are going to discuss about the access modifiers in Java. Access modifiers controls who can access the class members. So Java provides four types. One is public, private, protected, and default. Public means it is accessible from anywhere, and private means it is accessible only within the same class, and protected means accessible within the same package or a subclass, and default means it's accessible only within the package. So using access modifier, which helps the data security and encapsulation. And next is advantage of a class. A class provides many advantages in Java programming: code reusability, better organization, encapsulation, and easy maintenance. So code reusability means write once and it can use multiple times, and it has a structural programming design, and data hiding is also protected and easier to modify and debug. And finally, when you go for this, finally at the summary of the class is a blueprint for creating an object. It contains the variables and methods. So the object are the instance of the classes, and the classes are the foundations of object oriented programming. So in the next session, we'll continue with more examples and deeper concepts. Thank you. Happy learning.